Hello everyone, welcome back. This is a new lecture in your course Git and GitHub by Avionics. My name is Ahmed, and in this lecture we are going to start getting our hands dirty. We are going to start installing Git on our own systems. So let's get started. Now in most cases Git doesn't come pre-installed with the operating system, so it needs to be installed. You can, however, check if your machine has the software already by simply running the following command. If you want to check whether or not Git is already installed in your system, just run git ---- or -- version. So let's have a look here at our system. This is my Mac. I will run git ---- version, press enter, and yes, Git is installed on my system and its version is 2.3.8 at the time of this recording. So it is installed. But what if it isn't? If it is not installed, you can do that depending on, of course, the operating system you're using by following the coming instructions. The first system we're going to tackle is installation on Mac OS X. If you have a Mac running Mavericks 10.9 or later, you can install Git by installing the Xcode command line tools. Actually, the system will prompt you to do so as soon as you type Git on the command line. When you type Git on the command line, and if it's not installed, you'll find a prompt quickly appearing that you can install Git by installing the Xcode command line tools. If you press OK, the system will automatically start downloading and installing the components that will make Git available on your system. Alternatively, you can visit this website and download the latest maintained version of the code. So, if we click on this link, you'll be presented with this nice screen downloading Git, and you are going to start downloading the software like this. Start downloading the DMG file, and once it's downloaded, you can start installing it as you install any other Mac OS X software or application. Okay. The third option for Mac is to install GitHub Desktop, which is a GUI client for GitHub that includes Git as part of the installation. GitHub, as we have mentioned in the previous lecture, is a free repository for Git applications, and it is a web application. You can visit desktop.github.com, okay, and once you're there, you can download GitHub Desktop for OS X 10.9 or later, and once it gets installed, it already contains the Git components incorporated within the software package. So that was for the Mac OS X. Let's have a look at Windows. You can install Git for Microsoft Windows by downloading the necessary package from the following URL. So let's have our Microsoft Windows, okay, and inside Windows we can download the package. Let's click here to download. And we can start installation like this. Program files, we started it multiple times. Okay, and you can add a desktop icon if you want to. Next. Just keep the defaults. And install. Okay, once the installation is finished, we can launch Git Bash. Clicking Finish. And this is the command line of Git. This is a special command line interface for Git for Windows. You can verify the installation by typing git ---- version, and as you can see here, it has the latest version, which is Git version 2.11.0.Windows.1. So now you have Git installed for Windows if your operating system is Windows. Let's shut down this for now. And similarly, you can download and install GitHub for Windows by installing the GitHub Desktop version. That's the same as we did with the Mac OS X. We can use this website to install GitHub Desktop for Windows. Okay, just click on the Windows version and you can download the desktop version. And as with the Mac OS X, it incorporates a Git installation within it, of course, and it of course adds all the features of the GitHub in the application. Now, having covered Mac and Windows, let's have a look at Linux. If you own a Unix or a Linux system, you can install Git by using your package manager. If you're using Ubuntu or Debian, you can install it by using apt-get install git. And fortunately, we do have a Debian system here, so let's have a look at the installation process. Okay, and once inside, you can just right-click, open terminal, and then using sudo, you issue the command apt-get install git. Enter the password for your own user, and press yes. It will just grab some of the prerequisites, and that is one of the merits of using a package manager, which is that it will save you the hassle of resolving and installing any prerequisites that are needed for installing Git. It will just install them automatically and install Git on your system. Okay, now it has finished downloading the components and it is installing it. Now it's installed. Let's clear the screen and issue command git ---- version. Okay, the version that is installed by Ubuntu is version 2.7.4. And notice here that the Git version that has been installed here in Ubuntu is different than the one that is installed on the Mac here. Have a look, it was 2.3.8, and on the Windows it was a totally different version. That is because every package manager has its own version, has its own stable version that it prefers to download. In other words, if you are using the installer that you downloaded from the website, like when we're using Windows, or you use the package manager of your own system, like when we used here Ubuntu, or even the Xcode tools of the Mac OS X, each one of them will download a totally different version of Git. That's because each and every vendor chooses which stable version of Git gets shipped to its own clients. This means that and accordingly different OSs, different systems will have different Git versions when you use their package managers to install the component. If you want to get the very latest version of Git, regardless of your system, you will have to compile it from source, as we're going to show you later in this section. Now, this covers the Ubuntu Debian. If you have Fedora up to 21, you can use the yum installer to install Git. Just issue yum install Git. If you have Fedora 22 or later, you can use the new DNF installer. DNF install Git will install Git on your system. And it's worth noting here that Red Hat Enterprise Linux and its derivatives, CentOS, Oracle Linux, and Scientific Linux may contain an older version of Git pre-installed. If you want to use the latest and your package manager, whether it's yum or the DNF, is not grabbing that, you can opt to compile the package from source, as we have just said a few moments ago, that different versions of operating systems install different versions of Git by default. So, let's have a look at our final example and our final system, which we'll be working with for the rest of this course, which is Oracle Linux. Let's open the system here. This is Oracle Linux. This is Oracle Linux, and if we type git ---- version, you'll find that git command not found. This means that it is not installed, so let's use yum -y install git to install the latest version available for the yum package manager. It may take a while, so let's just give it some time and get back. Okay, now the packages have been downloaded and it's starting to process them. Okay, now it's downloading the packages and all the prerequisites. Okay, now let's clear the screen and type git ---- version, and as you can see here, it is a very old version of Git compared to the current one. As we saw on Windows, it was 2.11, I guess, but this is 1.7, so it is a very old version of Git compared to the current one. So in the next lecture, we are going to see how we can install the latest bleeding edge version of Git by compiling it from source, so stay tuned.